John, if I could start with you about what happened last night in the Allianz Arena. Liverpool have qualified for the quarterfinals. 0-0 in the first leg, and they went there knowing an away goal would be a real bonus. But I think in general, despite perhaps a patch in the middle of the game where it was a little bit staid, it was a very accomplished performance by Liverpool.
Oh, they won well, Andrew. They played well. They did what they had to do. You'd have to say Bayern Munich were a disappointment. But Liverpool are not in control of that. They did what they had to do, and they did it very, very well, and well deserved to win in the manner in which they did.
Liam, the goals that Liverpool scored on the night were fantastic. Sadio Mane in particular, the opening goal. He's in a great run of form because at the moment Salah, despite the profile, has only got 3 goals in his last 10 games. Firmino, I think the same. Mane has got 10 in his last 10 games, and that opening goal was a real thing of beauty. The long ball from Virgil van Dijk and the control and awareness to know where the keeper was and finish that way was superb.
Absolutely, yeah. He's bang on form. And, the three of them seem to be able to, when one's not at it, the other two are. Or, if for some reason Mane, he didn't fire against Bayern Munich in the first leg. In fact, he had a few chances and he didn't take them. But he certainly made up for it last night. The first goal, the ball from out from the back from Van Dijk, instant control. He was aware that Neuer had made a mess of coming for it. He just shimmied past him, turned, and then had the composure to chip it. And it was an absolutely brilliant goal. And although Salah didn't fire maybe as well as he can, his ball for Mane's second goal was absolutely marvellous. It was put on a sixpence for him to score with a diving header. And of course, the other guy who delivers for them week in, week out, they missed him in the first leg, was Virgil van Dijk. He's very, very dangerous at set pieces, and he delivered as well with a smashing header. He played really well in defence. I thought Liverpool they played cautiously to begin with. They weren't going to give Bayern any encouragement, and although some periods of the game were scrappy, as John said, I thought Liverpool won well.
John, Bayern are not really the Bayern that we've seen over the last few years, are they? They look like a team that's sort of in a transition. They've come to the end of an era. Some of the big players are not having the same impact as they used to. Ribéry last night, Muller, not well involved. Robin not involved at all. These are the guys who've made the difference for them down the year. So I don't want to take anything away from what Liverpool did.
No.
But, it is not quite the Bayern Munich that we've been used to.
No, the long way short of it. I thought they were poor actually last night, Andrew. The goalkeeper was one of the best. Neuer was one of the best. He made a bad mistake for the first goal. Martinez and James in midfield were very, very ordinary. Ribéry, I think, is finished, and Lewandowski up front got no support whatsoever. So, Liverpool did what they had to. I'm not taking anything away from Liverpool. They were very good, well deserved to win, but this is not a great Bayern team. In fact, if you look at the results during the week, in the last couple of weeks, was it 3 or 4 German teams have gone out. So, like the Champions League is an examination of every year, Andrew, of where the teams are in their particular countries, and it shows. There's 4 teams from the Premiership gone through, none from the German League at all. So it shows where they're at, and certainly Liverpool showed that last night. Liverpool were good, did what they had to do, did it well, but definitely Bayern Munich team of previous years. This is nowhere near as good as the teams in the past. Nowhere near.
No, I agree. And Liam, people will, I don't think too many people will dispute that, but they still came into this game on the back of a 5-1 win against Borussia Mönchengladbach, and they beat Wolfsburg 6-0 the weekend before. So it's not as if they were coming into this in poor form. But you mentioned Van Dijk and the impact he's had as a defender for Liverpool. But I think when you need to win games like this, you need your big players to deliver on the big stage, and he did that not just with the way he defended, but with that goal, which was so important at that stage of the game.
Yeah, Bayern had got themselves back into it when Matty put into his own goal. And, it was the tie was in the balance, but once that one went in, with about half an hour to go, maybe 25 minutes to go, Bayern are going to need 2 goals. So that was a crucial goal, no doubt about it. But, what you're saying and what John's saying is absolutely stark. The German football is not what it was. 3 of the 4 teams that were in the Champions League have gone out. One of them got beat 7-0 by Manchester City. Really, German football is in a bad way, and Bayern, although they're pushing to win another league title, it's a reflection of that. Ribéry has had his best days. Neuer is not the goalkeeper he was. Joachim Löw has dropped 3 of the Bayern Munich players from the German squad in Muller and Boateng and Hummels. Serge Gnabry, who I know well, and you probably know well as an Arsenal supporter, Andrew. He's not the same class as Arjen Robben was in his heyday, and Ribéry was in his heyday. Nor is Coleman, who came on as a sub for Ribéry. So Bayern really are, struggling to keep up with what's happening in England and the money that clubs have in England to spend on players, and it's a situation that they'll be well aware of, and they'll be trying to do something about it, because they went out with a whimper last night, really.
John, from Liverpool's point of view, you did see some people before the game talking about how if they went out, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for them, because they can concentrate on this Premier League title challenge. The Premier League has avoided Liverpool or evaded Liverpool for so many years. But when you go to a club and go to a team like Bayern away and you win that way, it can only be good for your confidence and to keep momentum going.
Well, I think what people, I would be in the bracket of a blessing in disguise going out of the Champions League, Andrew. Mainly because it's not the way they played last night. Of course they want to win, and they played well and win. But it's the travelling, it's the extra matches, the points of injuries, tiredness. They will all come into it. I mean, obviously they're not going to go out to lose last night, and I would describe it as a blessing in disguise if they did. That's to win the Premiership, because you will get injuries, I think, you will get tiredness, you will get all the various things that once you're involved in competitions. But Liverpool have to do what they have to do. Last night they did it. They might go on. They might well go on and win it. But that was my take before the match. But they did their stuff well last night. Of course, it does your confidence good. But in the long run, it's travel. It's a possibility of injuries, tiredness, all the various things that will come to a climax as they go on for the season, Andrew. Of course, they have to win, and it was a great win for them last night.
Liam, would you, as a player, is that something that would cross your mind if you're involved in the scrap for the title and also you're heading into the quarterfinals of the Champions League or the European Cup? Can you compartmentalise an exit from Europe in that way and say, okay, now we can redouble our focus, or is it just beneficial to keep that run going and to be playing well and to take the confidence boost from beating a big team like Bayern?
Well, if you're a player, and I'm not going to answer for John, but I guess I guess that if he was a player in Liverpool's team, he would want to stay in that competition because it's such a prestigious competition. It is the best, and I think Mo Salah even came out this week and said, "Look, for me and for all the people in Egypt, the number one competition is the Champions League." And all those players who played last night, Van Dijk and Mane, and they want to be performing at this level. And when you're a player, you'll be thinking, well, we can do the double. It's not going to do our chances any harm. Probably for most guys on the outside, like John and myself and Eamon and so forth, you'd be saying, well, it's less matches, less travelling. But when you're on the inside, a player or a manager, you'd be desperate to go and win this competition. It is a super competition. And let's not forget, Man City are still involved, and they'll have the same amount of games added with the FA Cup added on top of it. So if I was in the Liverpool camp, I'd be wanting to go all the way.
Yeah, and I think they might feel
Andrew, can I just interrupt
of course,
you there?
John.
I think you mistake me a little bit. I'm not saying as a player that I wouldn't want to do it. I was in that position myself as a player, and the players want to do it. I'm only talking from the outside. For Liverpool's point of view, as a blessing in disguise to go on in the Premiership. Of course, the players want to do it, and to be delighted that they want to do it and try and win the double. That's their point of view, which is the way it should be. But I'm only talking as an outsider from Liverpool. That's my take on it.
Sure.
For their own sake, I know players want to win, but it could well be that winning those matches could catch up on them in the race for the Premiership. But there again, they might go on and win the double. But it is a difficult thing to do. Yeah. But the players, of course, would want to win last night and would be absolutely delighted about it.
Of course, yeah. Look, you can see the logic in it. From looking at it externally, it could be beneficial. If City go further and they have more games to play and are a bit tireder.